Hey y'all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lily. I'm a disabled trans femme streamer. Since day one, I've treated Twitch's platform like a serious full-time job as an entertainer, and it's been simultaneously my only stable source of income, as well as both a huge source of hope to better my situation and a huge source of community for me. On January 4th, I was streaming Sonic the Hedgehog, when 5 hours and 30 minutes into the stream, everything went down. I realized, very unceremoniously, that my Twitch channel had been hit with an indefinite suspension with no warning, no prior infractions, and critically, no explanation. Over 150 streams in under 8 months, yet terminated immediately. I received an email citing serious violent threats, of which there were none, and saying that the appeals portal would have more information. It did not. In fact, the majority of the appeals portal, including the reason field, was left blank. For reference, this is how a violation form is supposed to look. Despite having a max severity infraction, Twitch couldn't be bothered to actually tell me what I did wrong, or even fill out the form properly before terminating me entirely. I do have some theories on what the suspension might have been about, but even then, none of them warrant this level of immediate revoking of access. My first theory is that I had set my stream title to an admittedly juvenile sex joke, Lily finishes on stream, in reference to, well, finishing Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time. This was explicitly stated on stream, but it's possible that Twitch's automated moderation caught this as a self-harm threat. My stream was terminated about 10 minutes after this title change. Immature? Yes. Breaking Twitch's terms of service? No. I did have, and always made sure, to mark my streams as 18+. The second theory is that my co-host on stream had asked me, nearly word for word, "Hey, do you remember that sketch show, The Whitest Kids You Know?" They had this bit that I'm reminded of, where they said, "Did you know that it's illegal to say..." Hold on, let me pull up the script of the episode. And then she proceeded to directly just read the introductory line of the episode, making it very clear that this was not advocacy for what the episode was joking about, just straight up, straightforward discussion of it. In no way did anyone in chat even engage with advocacy of violence, though it's possible that an automated system flagged my account due to this anyways. My stream was terminated about 2 hours after this discussion had taken place. Again though, in context, this isn't breaking Twitch's terms of service. In fact, I know several other streamers who have said this exact same thing and are currently partners on Twitch. The third possibility is that about a week prior, I had banned a chat member who had been making me uncomfortable. This chat member has since been creating alt accounts to evade suspension, hopping from channel to channel, getting to know streamers before sending them death threats and reporting them, openly bragging about doing so after my suspension. My partner also banned this person and was suspended less than a week later. During the production of this script, my partner was terminated under incredibly similar circumstances to myself, in her case for hacking, while she was just hacking in Fallout New Vegas, leaving me to believe that this was in fact targeted. Unlike me, however, her suspension's reason field was filled, albeit poorly, simply a copy-paste of possible reasons from terms of service rather than actually telling her what she did, allowing her to actually submit a real appeal and have her suspension removed, Twitch actively admitting to a mistake on their end in this case, and yet her account is still on probation. Regardless of the reason for my suspension, however, I, again, was not given a reason nor an explanation. Critically, I couldn't reasonably appeal a suspension without, a reason. For any of these, I would even understand a temporary suspension, a slap on the wrist, a warning, anything. But an immediate full and definite suspension with no explanation is unfair, and much harsher than I see other users, usually not transgender, usually not disabled, doing much worse, or in some cases straight up illegal activities on stream and getting hit with single week bans at most. Which clearly states both in the appeals emails and on their own terms of service pages that they do in fact use automation in the enforcing of their rules, leading me to believe that a human being has not actually reviewed my case. Either way, all I can do is speculate. Since the stream was terminated and all access to my account was revoked, I was unable to save a copy of the VOD. I don't even have the ability to scan through the content myself, only to talk to the people who were there and try to figure out why this could have happened. In the time since my suspension, I've been attempting to get Twitch's attention through whatever means I can. Initially, I tried to use the appeals portal, simply requesting to know what the reason behind my suspension was, as the reason field was blank. This appeal was, of course, rejected. I was not given any information on this. With an indefinite suspension, users are only able to appeal once and ask for reinstatement after 6 months. There's also something that implies that with max severity issues, there's no way to ask for reinstatement after a 6-month period, but we'll just have to see if it comes to that. I've tried Twitter, which I'll explain a little bit later, and we'll try to continue to reach them through that method. I also tried reaching out through their support portal on their website, only to be met with this exchange, which I expect to be automated. I submitted a ticket explaining that the reason field for the appeals portal was left blank and that I didn't know what I was appealing. They responded, "You can find the reason for your suspension on our appeals portal. All the information we can provide is in the appeals portal, which cannot provide you with any further details through any other means. If you're having issues with submitting your appeal, please let me know by replying to this email with a screenshot." I did, saying the reason field was left blank, that I was not asking for more details here, and that I would like an honest shot with my appeal. They responded, "Please navigate to our appeals portal. Appeals sent via other means will not be considered. Twitch support cannot provide you with further details. Frivolous appeals will count as an attempt," completely ignoring that the reason field was left blank. Notably, there were several weird things with how this particular email was formatted as well, leading me to believe that it was automated. So I responded, again, with just the screenshot, just saying, "I am having issues with the appeals portal. I was not provided a reason for my suspension within the appeals portal. Please assign a human being to look into this." They responded, "We have reviewed your case thoroughly and can confirm that unfortunately, we cannot provide any additional insight to your request. We will be closing the case in this thread. Have a great rest of your day." The most the AI got confused response possible. To resolve this, I've tried contacting multiple disability rights advocacy legal groups. Lawyers are, however, terrified of litigation against Twitch to the point where if you ask about anything regarding Twitch at all, they'll assume you want to sue and deny your case. With an advocacy group, their funding isn't great, but ideally, they'll be able to send a demand letter to Twitch asking not to reinstate an account, but to ask why it was suspended in the first place. This didn't happen. While my partner was looking into legal assistance in only the wording of her appeal, she encountered this same treatment even while paying for legal aid. She was, however, told directly that one of the firms did in fact have a direct connection to Twitch and could ask for a human being to look into the matter for a 5-figure asking price. Not a resolution, not a guarantee for reinstatement on her account, not even any legal action. Just pay us 5 figures and we'll talk to this guy. Other than that, I've been advised by multiple people, partnered streamers included, that the only way to maybe actually talk to a human, other than through the legal avenue, is getting people to @Twitch support on Twitter. Unfortunately, they haven't got any other ways to get in touch. No other socials, and as discussed, their support page is also seemingly fully automated. Even then, the Twitch support Twitter is also sometimes automated, pointing people to a live chat that only exists for certain users. This live chat is also, funny enough, automated. A friend of mine asked about another aspect of my suspension that happened recently. She asked what this means. The live chat support chatbot didn't know. The most I can ask of you is to try to get eyes on the situation from your peers and friends, and hopefully we can get a human being to actually, look at this. In the meantime, I'll be streaming here on YouTube to the best of my ability and working on some other solutions for streaming. I'm currently not allowed by Twitch to do so much as watch friends I've made stream, support them in any way, receive support from them. Even showing up incidentally through a collaboration event can get their account suspended and mine hit with another indefinite suspension infraction. Even if I completely decide to never use Twitch again. But I do still want to be on there. If you can take a second to @Twitch support on Twitter and try to get some human eyes on this, it would be deeply appreciated. Otherwise, I appreciate all of the support I've gotten. If you're a streamer though, I'm not saying to stop streaming on Twitch. I myself would love to return to the platform as soon as possible, but please at least consider dual streaming to another platform so that you at least have a backup plan. It's easier than you might think. Remember that Twitch isn't on your side. They trust their automated tools enough to terminate your account on a whim with no explanation and no recourse.